Go ahead and start us, please.
Yeah, hey Matt. Just to start off, everybody tested okay, I assume, right?
Yes.
Okay, and now the more important part of the question: what makes North Texas so good defensively from what you've seen? They're obviously put up pretty good numbers in that area.
Right. Well, he's a good coach, and obviously, I talked to you guys about recruiting one of his guys, and so I've seen it firsthand, and he's been great at all of his stops. And anytime you see guys at Division II, JUCO, low major, mid major, high major, like you got guys that and obviously where he was an assistant at Baylor, they've done pretty well for themselves. So all of his stops here in the past 20, 25 years, that there's success, written all over it. And there's a reason for that. His teams have discipline. They're consistent. But they just do a good job of getting into you and guarding the basketball and making it hard for you to do what you want to do. And they limit your paint touches. They're grimy. And always been a big fan of his. And, you just got to be able to probe the defense. You got to work it. And against great defensive teams, like, you're going to have to earn your baskets. And that's what we're going to have to do against North Texas.
We'll go Mike, Kevin, and then Ross.
Yeah, Matt, are there some Texas Tech tendencies in how they play defense?
I would say that everybody has some similarities, even though there's differences. But yeah, it's hard to do what you want to do against them. And obviously, Texas Tech is one of the best in the business at that. And they just take you out of what you want to do through their ball pressure, loading up and not letting you get into the paint. Things of that nature, swarming the basketball when they get put into vulnerable positions. I think that's another attribute that they do that Texas Tech is really good at. It's one thing to have things straight up and things are fine, but when you get behind plays, are you good at recovering? Are you good at swarming the ball? And, North Texas does a really good job with that.
Kevin?
Yeah, Coach. I know the cliche about guard play in the tournament, but you have two experienced guys in Sasha and Eric now. How much do you lean on them for experience and production kind of going forward here?
Yeah, well, we'd lean on them no matter what. Obviously, they play a lot of minutes for us. They both play around 30 minutes, and they've been very consistent for us in their careers. So they do have some NCAA tournament experience, and that's great. And but North Texas has good guards too. And, and that's, you have to be able to go out there and, be more productive than they are. But no, I'm excited that we have guys that have been in the tournament before, like Eric and like Sasha, and looking forward to seeing them play well.
Ross and then Matthew from TSN.
Hey, Matt, just a more general NCAA tournament question. I don't know if you've seen the bracket on the face of the JW Marriott. If you have not, just in general terms, how impressed have you been with the way Indy is, all the minor details and small details to put this event on? How impressed have you been?
Oh yeah, it's cool. I've not seen it in person, no, but I've seen, tweets and things of that nature. But no, that's it's pretty neat to see something of that magnitude that's put up there like that. But yeah, Indianapolis is the best. They've proven that, every time they have an opportunity, not just to hold basketball sporting events like March Madness, just any sporting event. It's a great, layout, and it's very fan friendly.
Matthew.
Coach, about Zach Edey, how impressed have you been the way that he's developed throughout the year? And given the conference that you play in, and talking to him this morning, he's excited to be physical and to be in the tournament. So how do you think that he'll perform?
I think he'll do great, just like he's done all year. He just keeps getting better right in front of our eyes. And it's hard to get better when sometimes you don't play as much as you would like. Obviously, he's got a really good player that's in front of him too. So, but no, I trust him, and he's proven that. And I think when you've seen him close out some games, I think that's the magic word in coaching is trust. It's a magic word, period. But in coaching, it's really important. And you'll like players, but when they're young, sometimes they just don't understand the differences, maybe in a crucial time or in a certain spot in the game. And he's just, I know his job's a little more simple, when you're a big guy, what he does, because he posts a lot. And then defensively, it's really post D and ball screen D. But he keeps things simple, and his turnovers have been down, and his fouls have been down. He's rebounded the ball well. He's done his job. He's obviously scored at a high clip. He's just been an extremely efficient number. I mean, he's had extremely efficient numbers. If you guys ever, I spoke on it after the Ohio State game, and some guy wrote an article about it, and he talked about raw numbers. If you go look at his analytics, it's off the charts. Like it makes sense for him to be in the game offensively and defensively, and you guys just don't understand how hard it is to do ball screen defense when you're 300 pounds and you have a size 20 shoe. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do, period. But to have that kind of size and be able to move and to be able to chase rebounds. Most guys that size, they'll rebound if the ball comes in their area. He'll leave his area. He'll go out of his area and get rebounds. So I'm very pleased with him. He's been fun to have on our team.
We'll go Daniel Rodriguez, then back to Brian.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask, going up against North Texas, how do you prepare for a team that has maybe 4 guys that are averaging more than 10 points per game, that they know how to share the ball, and are also top 30 in three-point percentage in the entire country?
Yeah, they're very good and very versatile. Like, they kind of have some interchangeable pieces where they can break you down off the dribble. Their guard, Hamlin, is such a good guy at breaking the defense down, and they surround him with people that can do the same, maybe not to the level that he can, but the guys that can't quite break you down like he can, they all can knock down threes. And so they can do a little bit of that, but then they can really shoot the basketball. And, you have to do a good job of containing the dribble. You have to do a good job of not getting behind plays, because a lot of times when you have a good lead guard that can score and pass, when you get behind plays, he's going to find the open man. When you get behind things, like, you got to limit paint touches and limit layups, and that's hard to do because you're already behind plays. So we just got to try to set our defense and keep the ball in front of us to the best of our ability.
Brian, then Tom Brew.
Yeah, hey, Matt. I know one of the first things you do in NCAA tournament prep is look for similar types of matchups that a team might have faced. Have you found any sort of frame of reference for, like, Travion and Zach with them in terms of teams they've played, where you can kind of base things off? Or
not really. Like, they face other people that have good size, like Western Kentucky has Charles Bassey.
Yeah.
But the way schematically that they play versus how we play is different. There's nobody in their league that plays like we do. But you can take, how they double the post or how they don't double the post, or you can watch those type of things. I think that helps you to a degree. The thing that Grant's done an extremely good job with is that he mixes up what he runs in games. So if you go and scout Purdue, like, you're going to, 80%, 90% of what we did, you're going to see it. If you go scout Ohio State, like what they did the game before, you're going to see it. They might have a wrinkle here or there out of a timeout that might be different, but that's what you do. You've coached for 5 months. He mixes things up. He might do the same exact thing that he did the game before. He might do everything totally different. It's pretty unique. It kind of keeps you on your toes. So it makes you worry about them, which I've always been a believer is you need the other team to worry about you more than you worry about them. But he's a really good coach. I'm a big fan. But no, there's not a lot. The way their league plays and the way our league plays is different. And I think that can help us, but I also think that can hurt us too. Sometimes different can really help you, because now you're the team that's different to them. But then when it gets flipped on you, you can have issues with those things too.
Tom Brew, Mike Carmen, then Ross. That'll be it.
Matt, you've been in a whole bunch of NCAA tournaments, of course, but we've talked many times through the course of the year as to just getting to this point. As you go into this, getting ready to play, I mean, how much of that nervous energy is there, and how much is grateful for just having the opportunity to get here?
I think you have both. Obviously, you're very grateful. Anytime you guys ask questions about, can you get past the Sweet 16? Can you get past the Elite Eight? My answer is the same every time. You got to get in that tournament first. And everybody earns their way in this tournament. North Texas had a heck of a road. They earned their way. They won 4 games in their conference tournament, and that's tough to do. We earned our way. And but when you get here, I'm nervous before every game, and so it's just and if you're not, then something's wrong with you. And so, but right as the game starts, you settle into it. I think players are the same way. You have that nervous energy, but I think that's a positive.
Mike, and then Ross.
Yeah, Matt, how are you handling the bubble? Is it just 24/7 film watching in your room, or
Yeah,
is it coaching staff doing Zoom calls, or you guys get together?
we get together a little bit, but there's not too much, meeting and going through. You talk about stuff, and obviously we were at home when we found out on Sunday, and then obviously coming up here Monday morning. But yeah, watching a lot of tape, getting it figured out. I don't watch all their games. I get through, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and then kind of go pick a game here and there that I think can fit into more closely what we do. But there's not a lot, because not everybody has the same non-conference games. And a lot of people are so different in December than they obviously are in February and March. So, but yeah, it's a little bit different. There's no doubt. What's different, Mike, is the time. Like, you got so much time. Like before, you play on a Thursday at noon, you'd get here Tuesday, mid-afternoon, you get adjusted, you'd have a practice, and then the next day, you get ready for your game. Now you get here on Monday and you don't play till Friday night. So you have time. So there's no rush to it. It's like Eric Hunter, you guys asked him a question when I walked in here, and he's like, well, we haven't gotten to that yet. What's the point of doing something for 4 days when you can do something for 2 days? And it's basketball. We're not running flea flickers here and end arounds. It's not like Statue of Liberty. What are you going to get to? It's basketball. It's but the most important team is yours. You got to have respect. I told our guys before we found out who selected us, I promise you this, no matter who we're playing, they can beat you. I promise you that. Just understand that. And I promise you, whoever they pick, we can beat them too. And so, you have to respect your opponent, but you also have to understand that, every team that you're going to play is going to be really good.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Ross,
you.
last one.
Hey, Matt, I guess from an offensive perspective more than anything, but how big of an advantage is it for you guys to play back-to-back games at Lucas with the shooting backdrop and the depth and just playing in a stadium like that in general?
Oh, I'll tell you, Friday night at 10. I don't know. It's if we make them, it's a real advantage. If we miss them, it's no advantage. So and that's what comes down to a lot. You know what I mean? People always say, oh, it's a make or miss league, or it's, things of that nature. But, anybody who would have a chance and the opportunity to play in a venue before, you would take that opportunity. You just would. And so I'd rather be the team that's played there than versus a team that, they're in the position where they haven't. But deep down, I really don't think it's that much of an advantage. But we'll see.
Cool. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
These will be available on the NCAA Digital Hub within the